Hello everyone. I'm going to tell you about the core modules of Fedena today. So the core modules are the basic functionalities that we have in Fedena. Before that, let me tell you who all can log in into Fedena. That would be the admin who has full control over Fedena. Then we have the students and the parents who have fixed privileges. Then we have the employees of the institution. So for the first time, I have to log in as an admin so that I can admit the students and the employees. So I have logged in as an admin, which is admin and admin 123 by default. And the login screen that you see here, this is the admin dashboard. Every box that you see is giving you some information about the institution. For example, employees on leave for today, events that are happening today, examinations, the students that are absent today, etc. We can manage them by going to Manage Dashlets. We can check the ones that we want to see and uncheck the ones that are not required. As an admin, the first setting that I have to do in Fedena is go to Administration and go to Settings, and here General Settings. And here I need to fill in these settings as per my institution. As an example, I have given name, address and phone number of the demo school. Attendance time can be either daily, meaning taken once in the morning, once in the afternoon for the school or the college. Subject-wise, meaning it will be taken once for each subject in a day. Financial year start and end date are the fiscal year of your institute. Starting receipt number is what will be appearing in the finance incomes that you get in Fedena. So for the first receipt, we'll have SCH-TW01. For the second one, SCH-TW02 and so on. So it will be auto-incremented for the subsequent receipts. Language, time zone, country and currency type will depend on the location of the institute. Precision count is the number of digits that you want to see after decimal in the financial reports in Fedena. You can upload the logo. The grading system is ICSE, CCE, CW and GPA, and you can select the ones that are applicable to you as per the institution's assessment guidelines. Enable auto increment of student and employee admission would allow you with the auto incremented admission numbers or the employee numbers after the first admission. There's a news module in Fedena where anyone can comment. If you want to moderate those comments or if you want the approval of those comments before posting them, you can check this box. If you want to relate brothers and sisters in Fedena for the students, you can check this box. And you can enable password change at first time login for all the users who you admit newly. So once this is done, the next step that is to be done by the admin is managing courses and batches. So let me tell you what courses and batches mean with respect to Fedena. If you're a school, then the courses would be Class 1, Class 2, or another nomenclature that is followed, Grade 1, Grade 2, and so on. It may also be Standard 1, Standard 2, Kindergarten 1, Kindergarten 2, etc. And let's talk about Grade 1. Let's say there is Grade 1 as a course. So inside Grade 1, I will have batches as A 2014, meaning that this batch has started in the last year. A 2015, meaning that it is going to start in 2015. And actually batches is what is going to have the students. If you're a university or a college, the course name would be BTech or BSc, Computer Science Engineering Semester 1. This is one of the courses. Another course would be BTech Computer Science Engineering Semester 2, Semester 3, so on. And each course, which is BTech Computer Science Engineering Semester 1, is going to have A 2015, denoting it started this year, A 2016, denoted it may start next year, and B 2015, meaning that it's the same, but you have divided the students. So there might be 20 students in A 2015 and 50 in B 2015. So this way we can create the courses. So let me create one new course which I'll name Standard 2. So I'm creating this course called Standard 2. In case of school, do not mention any section name. You can give a code and you can enable grading system. And then you can enable elective selection in case you want the students of Standard 2 to be able to select their own subjects. You can give the batch details. This means that Standard 2 has one batch called A 2015 which starts on this date and ends on this date. So it can be changed accordingly as per the academic year of this course. So you will see that Standard 2 is created here and it has one batch which is SA, which is the code, followed by the actual batch name that we gave. And inside this there are no students currently because I have not entered any. So this way I can create courses and batches in Fedena. The next step is to create subjects in that batch. So the batch was S2A 2015 and I'll add a normal subject. Let's say the subject is mathematics with some code, and the weekly classes of mathematics that are happening are 5. And since I want to have an exam for this subject, I have checked this. Sorry, I will not be checking this. So in this way I can create one more, let's say English, and maximum weekly classes, and I want to have an exam for this subject as well. So these are the normal subjects, meaning that all the students of S2A 2015 have to study them. Then we have an option of electives. So electives can be a group of subjects which you want to give as optional subjects to the students. For example, I'm creating an elective group called games, and the last date to choose elective in this games is 1 week from now, which is by default and it can be changed. Now inside this elective group, I want to give options like, let's say, football is one option, and how many periods, how many hours of football are happening in a week can be checked, selected, and no exam. So let's say I do not want to have an exam, I can check that. So another one can be, let's say, baseball. I can give the code. How many maximum weekly classes are there? And again, if I do not want to conduct exam, I can check that option of no exam. And here, as an admin, I can assign student, or even the students of this batch, Standard 2 A 2015, can assign themselves to the courses, to these subjects. So if you see the subject structure now, you will observe that there are 2 normal subjects which are mandatory, and there is one elective group called games, and these 2 subjects are there in games, and as an admin I can assign the students, or the students can assign themselves to these subjects, but maths and English has to be studied by each and every student of SA 2015. Now here, let's say for Standard 2, SA 2015 is going to have 20 students. And now let me create one more batch here, which is B 2015. which will again have 20 other students, and I can check this option of import previous batch subjects, which is going to help me copy all the subjects that I created. So I don't have to create the subjects again for this batch. So these two batches are now for standard 2, and both of them have the same subjects. So now the next step is to manage student category. So student category is to be decided as per the fee structure of the students. For example, let's say for this standard 2, both the batches, all the students are going to pay rupees 600 as the fee. But there are some students for whom you want to assign discounts. So in that case, you can create the category for such students. For example, I've created a category called staff child. So if any student in Fedena is a staff child, he will be getting discount on his fees. So like this, I've created a category called sibling in institution. So if there are brothers and sisters in Fedena, I can assign them discount. So in this way, as per the discount criteria for your institution, you can create the categories here. Then the next step is to add admission additional details. So here, if we see the admission form in Fedena, it has a fixed number of fields. If I want to take some custom data from the students, for example, I want to take the passport information. So I'm creating a field called passport and the input type as text box so that the student or the admin who is admitting the student will be able to write the passport number of that student. So in this way, I can create other fields as well. For example, has the student applied for passport? So I can make it as a select box, meaning as a drop down, and I can select from yes or no. Now before telling you how to admit a student, let's see the SMS module. So first of all, we have to go to accounts.fedena.com, for which you'll have a username and a password, and you can log into that. That is known as your SaaS panel. There we can do the SMS settings for Fedena. So when you go to this SaaS panel, when you log in with the username and password, you have to go to company here, and you will see all the fields will appear which will ask you for email, SMS. So you have to go to SMS and it will be blank for you. You have to click on add and you have to contact a third-party SMS provider in your country, and he will be giving you the data as per the fields that are asked in that form. So let me just show you that. So here you will see that SMS is coming and it will be empty for you. You have to click on add button and these settings will be as per your SMS provider. So once these settings are done, you have to come to SMS settings in general settings and you have to check this, meaning that you want to enable it for Fedena. Once you update it, it will give you all these options. So the first 4 options that you see here, this is when automatic SMS is sent from Fedena. For example, whenever the exam is scheduled or the result of the exam is published, automatic SMS will be going to the student as well as the guardian of the student. Similarly for attendance, any event creation, and whenever the student is admitted. The last 3 that you see are for manual SMS sending. So once you do that and once you go back, you will see that you can manually send SMS to students, batch of the students, employees, department of the employees, or you can even broadcast a message. You can even view the SMS log. So all the automatic SMS or the manual SMS that you've been sending, their logs will be appearing here. So to send the SMS to student, you have to select the batch. The students will appear, and the students for whom mobile number is present in their profile will be highlighted. And you can send them the SMS. So this is about the general settings or the configuration settings in Fedena. Now we have to admit a student. So we'll go to Academics, Students, and Student Admission. The admission number will automatically appear. For the first time, it will be blank. So you can enter the starting admission number to be user 1 or anything followed by a digit so that it gets auto-incremented for the next forms. So for me, it is coming as user 94 since I already have 93 users in Fedena. I can change the admission date to be the past date or the present or the future date. I can enter the personal details like the first name, middle name, last name. And this student, I have to say where does the student, in which batch the student belongs to. So for me, it is Standard 2A 2015. I can select other details as well. And if this student, I want to give him some discounts as per his category, I can assign him that category. And later on in fee section, I will be able to create discounts on this category. Rest of the details can also be filled in. The next step is the sibling of this student. So for the first time, since there is no other student in Fedena, you will not be able to assign him to a sibling. So you can skip this step and you can enter the parent details of this student. You can add one or more guardians here. And the parent for whom you want to have a login, you can select from the options that will come here when you add more than one guardian. Once you do that, it is going to ask you for previous educational details, meaning that if the student has done Standard 1 in another institution and now is coming to your institution, you can enter the previous education institution details here. So these are the additional details that I created, and the mandatory ones have to be entered. So this is how the profile of the student will look like. You can edit it. You can get a PDF report of it as well. And this student will be able to log in as user 94 and user 94123. And as I told, student is going to have fixed privileges. So all these links that you see here, they will be applicable for all the students. So they have fixed privileges in Fedena. And since I've given an option, I've enabled elective selection, he will be able to select his own elective. So this option that you see here, this inbox, this is the inside reminder module in Fedena where you can create message, send it to employees, students or parents with a subject and a message, and when they log in, they will be able to see it in their inbox and they can reply on it. Now let me tell you about another module which is student details where you can search the student. So you have to write the first 3 letters and you can see the profile of the student. So this is one way of coming to the student profile. Another way, you can go to advanced and here you can get some specific or general reports based on the number of drop-downs that you select. For example, let's say I want to see in grade 1 all the students. So I can see all the students of grade 1. I can get an Excel sheet of it or a PDF report of it. The next step that we're going to see is under administration, human resource. So we have to do some settings before admitting an employee. The first setting is adding the employee category. So here category would mean teaching, security, housekeeping, HR, and so on. For example, I've created a category called teaching, given it a prefix. Active means will it be shown in the admission form. So in this way, I've created another category like this. Accounts is another category. Then we have position. So the position of the employee in a particular category. For example, in teaching, the position of the employee can be professor or lecturer or junior teacher, senior teacher, and so on. So I've created such categories like this. So this is one category. We have another category, let's say lecturer. The third thing is employee department. So it can be based on the subjects that you have in the institution, or it can also be more general. So based on subjects, you have to create, for example, I've created for English. You can have it more general. For example, you can have academics as one of the department and sports as another department. Then we have the grade of the employee. Grade of the employee is the level of the employee in the institution. For example, I've created a grade 1, meaning that anyone who I assign grade 1 would be taking 1 hour in a day and 4 hours in a week as periods. So in this way, I have assigned other levels as well. For example, any employee for whom I assign grade 2 will be taking maximum 2 hours in a day and maximum 6 hours in a week. Priority would denote the seniority level of that employee in the institution. Lower the priority, more is the seniority level. So in the examples that I showed you, grade 1 employee has more seniority than grade 2 employee. And accordingly, the periods or the hours can be assigned to these employees. In this way, I've created few other grades as well. Then we have the payroll category. So the payroll category means the components that you see in the payslip of the employee. For example, there can be a fixed component. There can be a dependent component, which is an earning. There can be a dependent component, which is a deduction. So in the payslip of the employee, we will be looking at the earnings and the deductions, and those categories we can create here. So when I admit the employee, it is going to ask me the figures for those categories. For example, I've created here basic salary as a fixed component. Do not mention anything in percentage and percentage off when you're creating a fixed component. And if it is a deduction, you can check it. Otherwise, uncheck this. Then we have another category, which is a dependent component on basic salary. And since it is not a deduction, I'm not checking this. So in this way, I've created earnings and deductions will be coming separately. Deduction is the same thing, but I have to check is deduction here. So in this way, I have created earnings and deductions for all the employees in Fedena. The next step is to add bank details. So when I admit an employee, it is going to ask me these fields of account number, of bank name, branch, and so on. So we can take this information from the employee, and this is only for record keeping. So I'll be able to see the same in the profile of the employee. Then I have additional details, which are similar for what I did for student, creating custom fields. So when I admit an employee, it is going to ask me about these data. So once we have done all these we've done all these settings, we will go to employee management, employee admission, and we can enter an employee. Employee number by default will be coming as E1 and it will be auto incremented. You can change it here. So I can give the first name. I can give the other details as well. I can select the department of the employee. So let's say this employee is in mathematics department and he's a teacher and he's a senior teacher. So that can be selected. And since he's a teacher, I can select the grade of the employee so I can decide the number of hours for him per week and per day. Other details for the employee can also be filled in. And then it is asking for home, office and contact details. This is again for record keeping. You can refer to it at any later point in time. Then we have bank details. So as per what fields we created, it is asking all the fields. And these are the additional details. And then this here shows you what privilege you want to assign to this employee. Meaning that what all this employee will be able to do in Fedena. So all these options are coming. For example, if we want this employee to be able to mark student attendance, so we can check this option, student attendance register. Other options can be selected accordingly as per the role of the employee in the institution. Now this step is asking for the supervisor or the manager of this employee. So you have to write the first three letters of another employee who is the manager, who is already admitted in Fedena, and you can assign him. And then we can enter the payroll details of the employee. And you will see that I've only entered basic salary and the dependent components get populated accordingly. And the independent ones are to be written. So this is how the profile of this employee will be created. And this employee will be able to log in with E43, which is the username, and password as E43123. And again, this employee, as per the privilege that you've given to this employee, he'll be getting the link. So you can see, unlike admin, he's not getting all the links. He's only getting attendance because that is what we enabled for him. So he'll be able to view the attendance register of the student. So the next step after we admit the employee is to associate the employee with the subject that he's going to teach. So mainly for the teachers. So we'll be selecting the batch S2A 2015. We'll be selecting the subject English. And let's say from English department, I've already entered these employees. I can assign the employee that should be taking English in this batch. I can even assign more than one employee for the same subject. Now let's say for mathematics, I want to assign someone from mathematics department. Again, all these employees I've already entered. So I'll be assigning, let's say, one employee who will be taking mathematics. So this way, for each batch and for each subject of that batch, we need to assign a teacher by selecting the department. Then we have employee leave management. So let's say in a year, in 12 months, there are maximum 6 leaves that are allowed for the employee. So we can create such leaves in employee leave management. We can set the time period. We can set whether we want to carry forward the leaves to the next year or we want to reset them. And then we will see how the employee will be able to apply for leave and how the manager of the employee will be able to approve or deny the leave. We can even get an attendance report of the employees for a particular time period. So we can first add leave types. For example, I've added few leave types here. Let me show you the one that I've already added. The leave name is casual leave, some code. How many maximum such leaves are allowed? And do you want to carry forward them to the next duration? And to set the duration, we have to go to reset leaves and leave reset settings. So I've set the duration to be 4 months. It can be as per your institution's requirement. So it means that starting 1st of September 2014, for a period of 12 months, the employee can avail 5 casual leaves. And after these 12 months are over, he will again get 5 casual leaves because I've checked here enable automatic reset. If I do not want to enable automatic reset, I can reset manually as well. So I can reset today for all the employees. So it will be reset on the day you are doing it. You can do department reset as well. So for selected employees, or you can even individually reset for an employee. So this way we can add the leave types and we can set the leave reset settings. Leave reset settings is applicable to all the leave types. Then as an employee, I can apply for leave. So let me log in as one of the employee to show you how he can apply for leave. So this employee will go to his profile. So under academics, my profile, and under leaves, he'll be going to leaves. So he can select the type of leave that he wants. He can even select half day if he wants 0.5 of the leave to be deducted. He can select the duration here and the reason. And this leave application which is created will be going to the manager of this employee. So let me log in as the manager of the employee. And here I can see the leave applications from here as well. When I click on it, I will be looking at the details and I can either approve it or deny it. So the leave application for this employee is approved. We can now see the attendance register as well. So we can go to HR, Employee Leave Management, Attendance Register. And when we select the department, we'll be able to see all the employees. And you can see for this employee, which is Aman, for 6th and 7th of January, for which he has applied for leave and it is approved, it shows cross sign denoting that he is absent. So this automatically appears when the manager is approving. Now let's say because of some reason there is this employee Sahil who was not able to apply for leave in Fedena. So the admin can do that on his behalf. For example, for 5th of January, he wanted to take casual leave. So the admin is writing the reason and when he submits, he'll be getting this cross sign automatically. So here there's no role of manager. So by default, you will observe that all the employees are present in Fedena. So wherever you see a blank cell, it means the employee is present. Wherever you see a cross sign, it denotes that the employee is absent. So by default, the employees are present in Fedena. Whenever you want to mark them absent, you have to come to this attendance register, or whenever the leave is approved, it will automatically be denoted here. Then we can see the attendance report of all the departments. It can be for all the departments together, or it can be per department. So here we'll go to attendance report and we'll select the department for which we want to see the report. And here it shows for all the employees how many leaves they have taken and of what type. So this is about employee leave management. Now we can create the payslip of the employee in two ways. The first way is we can select each and every employee and generate the payslip for a particular month. Another way is we can generate all the payslips for a particular month for all the employees in one click. So let's see the first way, where we have to select the department. When I select the employee, it will show me the details as I filled while admitting the employee. I can add individual category, for example, let's say loss of pay or bonus as well. Since loss of pay is a deduction, I have checked is deduction. And the month that I select here, which is January, for this month, I am generating the payslip of this employee. So the month is very important here. I can change the month as well. I can create payslips or I can generate payslips for the future months as well. So once I create the payslip, the flow goes as the member of finance has now to approve this payslip. So the member of finance has to go to finance, which is the privilege that we should be assigning to an employee who will be approving the payslip. He will be going to payslip and view payslip, and he'll be selecting the department, the month, and when he views, he'll be able to see the pending payslips if they are generated by the member of HR. And when he views the payslip, he can either approve it or reject it or get a PDF report of it. Let's say because of some reason, the member of finance is rejecting the payslip. He can put the proper remarks so that the member of HR can understand and change it. And now the member of HR can view the rejected employee payslips by going to rejected employee link, and here selecting the department, selecting the employee name, the month for that employee, and he can edit it. He can change the figure as per the requirement, and he can again create the payslip. Now let's say the member of finance approves it. So here it can be approved. So this is a flow where a member of HR or any employee with human resource privilege can generate payslips, and any employee with finance privilege can approve the payslips. Now there is also one-click payslip generator where as per the figures that you've given while admitting the employees, their payslip will be generating for this month. So generation can be done in one click. And let's say you have given incorrect data for an employee, you can revert the one-click payslip using one-click payslip revert. So all the pending payslips will be reverted. Please note that once the payslip is approved by the member of finance, it cannot be reverted. Then we have employee search, where the employee can be searched by the first three letters of his name or by the employee ID. And I can view the profile of this employee. Like we have for student, we again have advanced option for employee, where we can get generic or specific reports as per the drop-downs that you select. Then we can view all the pay slips of the employee. We can do it for all the departments together for a particular month. So it is going to show the total salary and the approved salary as per the pay slip status. It shows even the pending pay slips as well. Total number of employees for whom the pay slip is generated for this month and for this department that is selected. So this is fully about HR. The next step now is to do timetable. So we'll go to academics and timetable, and we'll go to create weekdays. So weekday selection is done depending on whether it's 5 days working or 6 days working for an institution. You can select that from here. If it is different for a particular batch, you can select that batch and change it for that batch as well. Then we can set the class timings. Class timing means the duration of the classes that happen in a particular day. For example, I've created this class timings general, where I have classes starting from 7 and going till 1:30. So 7 a.m. to 7:45, 7:45 to 8:30, and so on. I've created the time durations. And this is known as a class timing set. So you have to give a name of the class timing set by clicking on new. It is going to ask you the name of the class timing set. For example, I've given class timings for school. And then it will appear like this here. And when you click in front of it to class timings, you will be able to add durations. When you click on add, you will give here the name of the period or the class, start time and the end time, and so on. Like this you can create for the full day. And this class timing set will be followed for the full weekdays that you've selected under create weekdays. So once this class timing is created, we need to assign it to the batches. So let's say standard 1 A 2015 is going to follow this class timing set. So I've assigned it to standard 1 A 2014. Now the next step is I need to create the timetable. So timetable creation is for the batches for the academic year. For example, let's say all the batches in the school are going to start from 8th of January 2015 till 30th of December 2015. So here I'll be selecting that duration, 8th of January and 30th of December. Once I do that, I will be getting it in edit timetable as one of the time periods. So this here will be the academic year. I've created it as a shorter duration, but it will be denoting the academic year of the batch. When I click on it and when I click on edit entries, I'll be getting the batches that match that criteria. So the duration of this batch falls with the duration of the timetable. So I've selected this batch, and you will see as per the class timing that I've assigned to this batch, it is showing me the empty timetable. Now I'll be selecting the subject, and as per the associated teacher, employee subject association, the teacher will be appearing here. So this assignment has to be done for each batch for each subject. Now in case we missed doing it, we can go to employee subject association from here as well. So we'll be selecting that batch, we'll be selecting the subject, and we have to assign the teacher who will be taking English in this subject. So similarly, we have to do for all the subjects. So let me do it for few subjects. So these are all teachers that are appearing. So here for this subject, you can see I've assigned a teacher. Now let's say English 1 is going to happen from 9 to 10:15 on Monday, 10:20 to 11:30 on Wednesday, and 12:50 to 2 p.m. on Friday. So you just have to click on the cells and you have to drag this into one of the cells and it will replicate into the other cells. So similarly, you can do it for other subjects as well, and you can create the timetable here. And it also manages all the conflicts. So all of that will be shown here. You can either wish to continue with them or cancel them. If you cancel them, that change will not be reflected here. If you continue with it, that change will be reflected here. So this way the timetable has to be created. Now once the timetable is created, I can view the timetable for that particular duration. I'll be selecting the batch and the timetable will appear like this, for which I can get a PDF report. Then I have teacher timetable. This is automatically created as per what you have assigned to the teacher. So it shows on what day, what teacher is busy for what duration, and in which class or in which standard or grade the teacher is taking what subject is also shown here. Then we have institutional timetable. So for a particular date, for example 6th January, I can even see it for a future date or a previous date. For 6th January, what all subjects, what all timetable is there for a particular batch will be shown. Then we have work allotment. Work allotment, if you see the left hand side here, this part is similar to what we've done for employee subject association. So all the batches will appear here and the subjects will appear, and I can assign employees from here as well. So whatever change I make here will be reflected in employee subject association and vice versa. But the additional information that this page gives you is about the number of hours of the employees. So as per the grade of the employee and the subject that the employee is assigned to, this here shows the remaining hours for that employee, the over hours for that employee, or the exact work that the employee is doing. For example, let's say there is an employee E1 who is a grade 3 employee, meaning that he can take maximum 8 hours in a week. And he is assigned to a subject, mathematics, where I have set maximum classes of mathematics to be, let's say, 4. Now in this case, the employee will have 4 hours more to work. So here you will get 4 deficit for that employee. So if he is assigned to 2 subjects with 4 maximum classes each, in that case he will be shown as OK. Remaining would mean he can take 2 more. So this is about work allotment. Then we have timetable tracker. Timetable tracker is used when you want to do last minute changes to the timetable. It can be the subject change, it can be the teacher change as well. For example, for a batch, for a particular date, I want to change the subject that is happening from this teacher to another teacher. So I can change here by selecting the department, by selecting the employee that is the new employee who would be taking English 1. So subject can also be changed and teacher can also be changed, and these changes will be reflected in swap timetable report and not the original timetable, because these are the last moment changes and are not scheduled. So you can see here the details as well. 2- means this employee has taken 2 hours less than what was as per his work allotment. 1+ means this employee has taken 1 more, and even we can view the details as to where they have replaced the employees or are being replaced by some other employee. Then we have classroom allocation, where we can manage, create buildings, create rooms inside the buildings. So for creating building, you have to give the name of that building, and inside the building you have to add rooms. So you have to give the name of the room and the capacity of students it can handle. So this way I have created some rooms inside this building: west block, south block and north block. Now I can allocate the batches to the rooms. Allocation can be done weekly or date specific. Now first, the allocation has to be done weekly, meaning that for the duration of the timetable, we have to assign from Monday to Friday the classes to the rooms. For example, S1A 2014 English, we want that to happen in West Block 1. So we are going to drag and drop it on W1 on Monday. Similarly, for Monday, we want for mathematics W1, for English W1. So for Monday, all the 3 classes that are there will happen in W1 classroom. For Tuesday, similarly, we have to do this. Let's say we want it to happen in W2, both the classes. So this way we have to do till Friday. And once we have done from Monday to Friday, it is going to repeat for the duration of the timetable. And in case for a particular date you want to change it, then you can go to date specific. And when you view it, you will see that for 12th, which is Monday, I have already done this allocation to N1. But let's say because of some reason N1 is not available, I can put it to N3 by dragging and dropping it. And it will say that already allocated, but do you want to overwrite, which can be continued. So this is about classroom allocation, and even the students will be able to see these details in their profile about the class, about the teacher who is going to take that class, what subject will they have to study. So I can show you that. Let me see a student who has a timetable in a batch. So I'm logging in as a student. And I'll go to academics and I'll go to my profile, and under more I'll have activities, and here for a particular date I can see the timetable which is applicable to me. What is the classroom that I should be going to, in which building, who is the teacher, and what is the subject, along with the duration as well. So all these details are available to the student. So we've done the timetable part of it now. The next thing that we'll be looking at is the attendance of the student. So we'll go to academics and we'll go to attendance register. Now, as I told for employee, attendance, everyone is present in Fedena by default. If you want to mark them absent, then you can see the attendance register. So I'm opening it for one of the students or one of the batches. So let's say this is the batch S5A 2014. All the students of this batch will appear. And let's say the student is absent today. So I have to click on that cell. I have to give the reason. And whether the student was absent for the full day or half of the day can be selected. And again, you will see it will be denoted by a cross sign here. It can be done for the past dates as well for the student, but not for the future dates. So I can mark somebody absent for a past date as well. And in case you do not want to mention the reason every time, you can check this rapid attendance here, and you just have to click on the cell and it will be shown as a cross without asking you for the reason. Then we can see the report of the attendance for a particular batch. So I can get an overall or a monthly report. So it shows the total number of working days and how many total working days the student has attended and what is the percentage of attendance, which can also be filtered. The third report is the day-wise report, which is a new feature of Fedena 3.4. And it shows the overall strength of the school on this particular date. So you can see it is 69 on 70 since one student we made absent for today. And when I click on these details, it will be showing me the more details of the batch. So it shows which student is absent in this batch. I can see it for any date. So this day-wise attendance report, which is a new feature of Fedena 3.4, gives you the full attendance data for the full school. And on clicking on a particular batch, which has some absentees, I can get the details of those absentees as well. So after this, we are going to see examination. So the first thing that we should be doing is the settings in examination. So we can set the grading levels here. So grading levels are the letter grades that you see. And these are already there in Fedena, which can be edited. So if 90 and above is A, it can be edited here in case it is different for your institution. And similarly, the other grades as well. It means 90 and above denotes A, 80 to 90 denotes B, 70 to 80 denotes C, and so on. It can also be changed for a particular batch. So in that case, you can add grades by giving A, letter grade, the minimum score, and the description. Now in case you have enabled CWA and GPA, in that case, one more option will be coming here, which is credit points. So you can even enter the credit points which are related to the letter grade. So the next step is to decide the ranking levels. So let's see what ranking level means. I've already created one ranking level called top performer. So here it means that in this course that I've selected, the student will be called as a top performer if in minimum 4 subjects, he has minimum 95% marks. So here the limit can be lower, denoting minimum or at least, or it can be upper, denoting maximum or at most. Exact will be the exact limit that you mention here. Similarly for the marks. So I'll repeat it again for another ranking level type. So in kindergarten 1, anyone will be called as a high performer who has at least in 2 subjects, minimum 85% marks. So this way you can create criterias, and later on you can get student reports based on these criterias. So I can get the high performers of this course. Similarly, the top performers of this course, and so on. Then we have class designation, which is similar to ranking level, but with the difference that it does not ask you for the limit on the number of subjects or the marks. Here by default the limit is minimum. For example, in this course, a student will be classified as a first class student if he has minimum 90% marks overall. So similarly, I've created another class designation. So this is about ranking levels and class designations. These two settings are mainly required when you want to get reports based on the classifications of the students. Then we can create exams by going to exam management. We have to select the course. We have to select the batch. And when we click on new, now here we have to create the exams. Now let's take an example. Let's take for a school, for this Standard 2A 2015, there is half yearly exam that happens and there is a final exam that happens at the end. So I can create, let's say, term 1 to be the half yearly exam, and in the report I want to show both marks and grades of the student, so I can select that. Now I'm creating here the exam schedule. So you will see that the subjects of this batch automatically appear. And I'm giving the start time. So let's say today at 3:30 p.m. and it ends today at 4:30 p.m. So I can select that from here. So I've created the exam schedule now. Now the next step is to publish this exam schedule so that the students will be able to see it in their calendar. So all the students of this batch, which is S2A 2015, for whom I have published this exam, they will be able to go to their profile, go to academics, calendar, and for this date, they will be able to see this exam. So once the exam is published, let's say the students have also appeared for this exam. So as a teacher, I need to enter the marks. I will be clicking on this term and I'll be seeing the subjects, and clicking on the subject will give me all the students in this batch, and I have to enter the marks. As per the maximum marks, I can enter some remarks as well, which will be appearing in the report of the student. And as per the grade, as per the marks, the grade will appear as per the setting that we've done in set grading levels. So similarly, we have to do for the other subjects as well and for all the students. Only one student is appearing here for me because I've added only one student in this batch, but actually this sheet will be very long, which will have all the students along with the admission number, and you'll have to fill in the marks along with the remarks for that student. The grade here automatically appears as per the grading level that is set for this type of course. So this way we have created term 1. In the same way we can create another term. Let's say this is the final exam, which is term 2, and we want to show both marks and grades again. We can decide the maximum marks and the minimum marks and the schedule of the exams when they are going to happen. And once we create them, we can publish the exam schedule, and let's assume that the students again have appeared for this final exam, and we can enter the marks for them. And now for this course, which is Standard 2, which has 2 terms, we can publish the exam results so that the students will be able to see the same in their profile. SMS notification is sent by default because we've enabled that for Fedena in SMS settings. Now the next step is to connect the exams, which means these terms will have some weightage. Let's say it is 30% for term 1 and 70% for term 2. So we are connecting them to make them 100%, and now we can generate reports for them. So the reports can be generated. It will take around 30 seconds to 1 minute for them to be appearing in the report center. And before that, let me tell you one more information here, that these settings that we've done are for the normal grading system type. For ICSE, CCE, there are different settings that has to be done, and for those settings, there are different videos that are already created in support.fedena.com. So in support.fedena.com, when you go to the end of the site, you will see videos link, module videos, and there you can search for ICSE and CCE videos. So that is specific to how to do settings in examination for CCE grading system and ICSE grading system. So now we can go to Report Center and we can select, let's say there are all these 12 reports that are available. Let me show you a few reports. For example, we can select the exam group and we can view the report like this. Exam group is term 1 that we created. So it shows the subjects, the marks, the grades, the remarks as it was entered, what is the class average. So all the students are coming here. I can get a PDF report of it. We can add remarks for this report as well. And it also shows a graph denoting the deviation from the class average. So we also have subject-wise report. So for a particular batch, for a particular subject, in the exam groups, how much are the marks that are obtained. Let me show you one more report, which is view transcript. So this will be more applicable to the universities where they can see semester wise. So if the student has been transferred, batch transferred to another batch, that report will also be coming along with this previous batch report. So it shows the combined percentage here for all the exam groups. Other reports are also available. So this is about the examination module. Now let me tell you about finance. So in finance, the most important module is the fees, where we can create the fees. So first step, we have to create the category of the fees. Let's say there is a fees which is applicable for standard 2. So I can select here. Let's say both the batches A and B, because they're going to have the same fee structure. So I can say S2 2015. I can create particulars. So I'll be selecting that fees, which is S2 2015. And I'll be selecting the batches for this particular will be applicable. And now this particular can be specific to student category, admission number of the student, or all the students together. So let's say all the students of this batch have to pay 600, but I can give discount for a particular student category. So I'm giving the same here. Let me create one more category. Let's call it registration fee, which is again for all the students of the batches. Now I can give discount on the total fees to either the full batch or a particular student or a category of the student. So here I'll select the fee category. I'll select the student category for whom I want to give discount. So let's say it is staff child. I'll select the discount in the form of percentage of the full fee or a fixed amount. And I can give it a name. The next step is to create fine slabs, meaning that we can mention that we can take fine from the student after the due date is exceeded. So after this, we are going to schedule the fee. We are going to mention the start date, end date, and the due date of the fee collection. In case we want to take fine from the student if he is not paying on time, we can create that penalty here. So we can give a name like penalty after due date. How many days after due date? We have to mention that here, 1. And what is fine amount that you want to take? So after 1 day of due date, we can collect the fine of 100. And this cannot be waived off. If you are creating it and applying it on a fee collection, it cannot be waived off. So after 2 days and so on, we can keep on adding fine slabs. So we've done these 4 steps. Now we have to schedule the fee collection for the batch. So we are going to go to create fee collection, select the batch, give it a name. Let's say it's start year, start session fee collection for S2. What is the fee category? Fine category. So it is this. And what is the start date, end date, and the due date? Now after due date, if the student in this batch is paying the fine, paying the fee, fine will automatically be applied as per the number of days that he has exceeded. The fee collection, again, it takes some time, around 30 seconds to 1 minute, for it to be reflected and for you to start collecting the fees. In the meanwhile, I can show you the fee structure. Fee structure is the fees that is applicable to the particular student. For example, I have the student here. And for this student, I'll be able to select the fee collection that I've already created and what are the particulars that are applicable for this student can be seen. It also shows discount if the student has discount also applicable as per his category. Then now let's see collect the fees, where we can do collection in 3 ways. Let me show you the first way, where we have to select the course. The fee collection which we just created will appear, and you can see this is how it is going to appear for the student. We can scroll to see the other student. So if there is any other student, we will be able to get the structure for that student as well. So the tuition fee, registration fee, and since this student falls under the category of staff child, so discount is also applicable for this student. And the total amount to be paid is this. Payment date, again, this is a new feature with Fedena 3.4. We can select the payment date. We can mention the payment note, the modes of the payment, and the amount. It can be paid partially as well. So it will be recorded, and then we can pay the rest of the amount as well. And we can print the receipt as well, which is going to show the amounts that are paid. So there are 2 payment histories here. Payment notes can be mentioned. So this is the receipt that is generated for the student. So this is one way in which the fees can be collected. Then we can search the student, and we can do fee collection wise payment. So the fee collection will be appearing, and the same will appear here since we've already paid for the student. So it shows fees paid. And the third way is particular wise payment. So here we can select the fee collection, And we can do the payment particular wise. So let me show you that. For example, here for tuition fee, I can pay the full amount or I can pay the partial amount. So we can do particular wise payment here. So let's say for tuition fee, from out of 600, I want to apply some discount, which is 100 maximum that I can apply. So let's say 100 I am applying. And for registration fee, I only want to pay 100. So this means 100 will be left to be paid. So you will see here, amount left to be paid is 100 and amount that I've already paid is 600. So I can pay this 100 at any point, at any stage at a later point. So I can mention here 100 and I can pay this amount. So this is another way in which we can collect the fees from the student. Then we can see the list of the students who have not paid a fee for within the due date. So we can see that here, and we can instantly take fees from them. If the due date is exceeded, you will get an option to add your own fine, although the fine will appear here as well. So you can add more fine here as well, and it will be added onto the total fee structure. So then we have fees refund. So if you want to return a part of the fees back to the student for which we've already taken, we can create a refund rule. For example, I can create a refund rule for this fee collection. We can give it a name. Let's say special year-end refund is the refund name. And we can return this refund in the form of percentage or amount. Let's say we want to return 100 for this fee. And then we can apply it to the student. So the student should have already paid the fee, and we can see that it appears like this. And we can refund this back to the student. Then we can view the refunds for a particular duration here. So all the refunds that we've done will be appearing. Then we can see few reports, which is student fees headwise report. So we can see the batch-wise report. So for a particular batch, we can see what all the students and what is the fee collection that is applicable to them, how much amount is left to be paid, how much amount they have already paid, and what are the particulars that are applicable to them. And if any discount is applicable to them can also be seen from here. We can even see the collection-wise report. So this is similar, but with the difference that we can select the collections. So if I have more than one collection for a batch, for example, for this batch, I have more than one collection. Maybe start year collection, mid-year collection. So in that case, I can see the start year collection. The same headers will be appearing. The third one is we can search for a particular student and we can see his details. So what is the particulars that are applicable to him can be seen. So this is fully about fees that we have done. Now let's go to finance and see the finance reports where we can see the incomes and expenses of what we have done in Fedena for a particular duration. For example, here it shows all the particulars, and all these particulars are automatically tracked in Fedena. So the first 4 particulars that you see here, they are automatically tracked in Fedena. So whenever the salary is approved for an employee, it gets added as an expense here. Whenever a fees is obtained from a student, it gets added here. We can see more details by clicking on it. So all the fee collections will appear. By clicking on it, we'll be able to see who has paid the fees. So all these details can be seen. So these 4 that you see here, they are already tracked. We can see that we made a refund of 100 to a student, so refund is also tracked. Now if you want here one more or your custom category to be shown, you can go to add category here. So all these, the first 10 that you see, it also shows you the plugins actually. So all these are automatically tracked in Fedena. Now I've created a category which is income till now to sync my income figure with Fedena, and I've given it a description, and since it is an income, I've checked it. In the same way, I can create an expense by unchecking income. Then I can create a transaction for that. So for income till now, let's say I'm creating income account, and this is the figure that I have with me before I started using Fedena. Now if I go to finance report, I'll be able to see this also becoming the part here, and I'll be getting the correct figure now. I can also see it graphically. Then we have automatic transaction. Automatic transaction is used when you want to get from the income, you only want to get a part of that income. For example, you want to cut tax and obtain the rest part of it as an income. So you can use automatic transaction in that case. So all the incomes that you've created will appear here. Donation is by default, and these are my custom created incomes categories. And then I can mention the percentage, title, and the description, meaning that whenever I make a donation, whenever a donation transaction is done in Fedena, 5% of that income will be cut as donation tax, and to the finance report, only 95% of it will be added. So let me show you that. I have a module of donation here where I can make donation, and let's say the amount is 100. And now since it is accepted, when I go to finance report and see it for today, I'll be able to see donation as 95, and when I click on it, I'll be able to see that this is deducted. 5% of 100 is deducted because automatic transaction has happened over it, and I've got 95 only. Then payslip, as I've already said, it is used by the member of finance to approve the payslips. He can approve it by one, or again in one click approval is also possible. Then we have asset liability management, where we can create assets. For example, we can take a note of furniture that we have. So we've created this asset and the amount that is spent on it. And in the same way, we can create liabilities. But here the point to note is that assets and liabilities are not made a part of finance reports. So that 1 lakh amount that you see for furniture will not be applicable or will not be coming reflected in finance reports. So this is fully about the finance part of Fedena. Now let's see this other smaller modules that we are yet to do. So we can start with academics. So remarks is another module where the teacher can enter remarks for the student. So as a teacher, I'll be getting only the grades or only the classes for which I'm the teacher. Since I've logged in as an admin, I'm getting all the courses. So let me select this course and let me select this batch, or let's say this is the course, and here I can give the subject. So let's say there is some project that has happened in the class today, and I am the science teacher, so I am writing the role here. So remark by is the role, and all the students will appear. I can give them remarks. and the student will be able to see these remarks in their profile. So when I log in as that student, and when I go to my profile, and under more, I'll be able to see remarks. So all the remarks for all the teachers will be appearing here. And as an admin, I can see all the remarks by going to remarks and list custom remarks, and for a particular batch, I can see all the remarks that I've given to the student, and by whom it is given will also be appearing. So this is a remarks core module in Fedena. Then let's see in collaboration the event creation module. So here we can declare holidays in Fedena. So when we declare a holiday in Fedena, for that day attendance will be disabled for the employees as well as for the students. So I can select the start and end day. So let's say it is 10th, which is a Saturday, and I want to declare it as a holiday. I can give a description here. And I can check here is holiday, and since this holiday is common to all, I can check it from here. Now once I do this and once I confirm it, the students and the employees will be able to see the same in their calendar. So you will see that 8th will be coming as a, 10th, which is Saturday, will be coming as a holiday. Holidays are denoted by green. Examinations are denoted by this blue label, which automatically comes when you schedule an exam and publish it. Now there is another kind of event that we can create. So let me go to collaboration, event creation, and let's say there are some celebrations. We can give the other details in description. And if since this event, let's say it's not common to all, so we don't have to check here, we can go to the next option and select the batch for whom this event is applicable, and even select the set of employees or the department for whom this event is applicable. It can also be made applicable to all the employees. And once we confirm it, all these employees along with only the students of this batch will be able to see that in their calendar. So if you see this calendar now, I'll be able to see the event for that particular date. So this is about event creation. Then we have news. So we can add, anyone can add news. This news can be specific to the institution, or it can be more of a general news as well. Anyone can comment on this news. So anyone will be getting this option here to leave a comment. And the comments will get added here, which can again be viewed by anyone else. So this news module is applicable to all the users in Fedena. Then we have data and reports, where we can get some good number of reports, where we can see the total number of courses running, the total number of batches, total students, total employees. So we can see the course batch details like this. Former students details. So we can make a student former. It means the student has left the institution. So we can go to the profile of the student. Let's say this is the student. So for the student, there is an option to delete here. So here I can either remove the student records completely, or let's say the student is leaving the institution. So we can mention the reason for leaving and the leaving date. And once this is done, we can generate the transfer certificate for the student, which can be given to the student. So now this student will become the former student in Fedena. So those details can be viewed by going to former student details, and for a particular duration, we can see the former students. Similarly, former employee details. So like student, employee will also getting an option as delete. We can see the subject details. So what all subjects are there, and whether they are elective subjects or not, whether there is exam for that subject, and in what batch the subject is happening, and how many maximum weekly classes are there for the subject. We can see which employee is teaching which subject and in what batch here. So this is as per the employee subject association or the work allotment module. We can see the employee payroll details. So all the employees and what are the payroll details, figures for each employee can be seen here. We can see the exam schedule details. So here for a particular batch, we can see what all exams are scheduled. So like this. So all the exam groups are coming. And what is the start time and the end time and the maximum marks as well. Then we can see the fee collection details. So for a particular course, we can see the fee collection that is applicable and what is the start and the end date and the due date of this fee collection. Then who all students have not paid the fees in a particular batch. So when you see the balance here, it means the fees is yet to be paid in this batch. More details can be viewed by clicking on the batch, again clicking and viewing at the collection, and again it shows which student is yet to pay. Then we can see for the full school, the defaulters. So again, balance means the student is yet to pay this amount. Then these student fees headwise report is similar to what we have seen in finance. Then we have this user module in Fedena, where admin can add a new user. So this is adding another admin, creating another admin. So we can have more than one admin in Fedena. So I can give the username as, let's say, admin1. I might have already have admin1, so I'm changing the username here. We can give the first name. We can set the password. So now we have another admin who will get the same details as this admin is getting, which is admin123. So the same replica account is created for admin0 as well. And another feature here is where we can edit the privileges of the employees. So we can find the employee and we can view his profile, change the password of this employee, or we can edit the privilege of this employee. So in case we want to add or remove the privilege, we can do that from here. We can even change the password of students as well as the parents of the students. So this is the parent of the student, and I can change the password of this parent. Similarly for the student as well. Admin can view his profile by clicking on this avatar and clicking on admin user. He can edit his profile. So this is fully about the core modules that we've done today.